You're
Hi.
welcome.
Welcome, everybody. I'm kicking it off today, and welcome to SOC Talks with Joy and Shawn. Hey, first take. All right, I got it right. So today we're going to talk about, we've kind of broached this subject the last few weeks about, being the best you and, what's that look like? And, through the Promptings Academy, there were a lot of mentions of that. Not Promptings Academy, excuse me. How old am I? At least I didn't call them a treat 'em right.
I know.
So
Summit, Relationship Marketing Summit.
That's exactly what it was called. So what we're going to discuss today is, there's a tendency with us humans is I want to be like Jordan. He's the best in our organization. So I want to be like Jordan, but the truth is you got to be the best you. I'm not Jordan. Joy's not Jordan. She hasn't shaved her head yet.
And I don't
There's the
smoke
personality.
cigars.
I mean, you have your own personality, and as you can see, I'm going to go a little farther out edge on topics than probably Jordan ever would. Joy, kind of the same thing, but you got to be you. But you got to be the best you. So that's what we're going to kind of discuss, and hope that helps you. And I think we were talking offline, and so Joy, you're an eagle today, and you're staying out on stage, and you've just got promoted. What's that look like for you?
Wow. I think probably what it looks like to me is like looking out over the people and seeing how many people on my team that are there and not just supporting that I'm up on that stage, is that they made that happen. They promoted themselves. They became something to get me there.
Great.
And you don't even think about yourself. You just think about what they do. I mean, it's and I might have wings. I might get myself some wings. And
Nice. That pop. That as soon as he introduces you, they pop out.
yeah.
So,
Just kind of like,
let me ask you this: what traits do you think you'll have then? And we're going to get real here. That maybe you don't have now.
what traits? Wow.
You didn't know this was going to be an interview panel.
No, I did not, Shawn. That's the last time I'm gonna let
But
you
I mean,
get off.
I think we have to be honest. That
Yeah.
so what do you? Just let's talk through this.
I don't even know if I would have any different traits, to be honest with you. Because I think it's all about who you are. The whole journey is about who you are. You can't change yourself along the journey. I mean, even when you first start the journey, and you can kind of go in this direction with our conversation, is how many times do you compare yourself to what they look? I mean, this is what Jordan does on stage. This is what Gail does on stage. This is what Darla does on stage. What it looks like them. You can visualize yourself being there. Don't visualize yourself doing what they're doing.
Sure. No, absolutely.
I mean, you do have to be you. And as we were talking, when you were kind of introing there at the beginning, Shawn, I was thinking to myself, that's why we started these soft talks, because it wasn't about being like anybody else. It was like, let's just talk.
Right.
Let's just be real. Let's be who we are. And if we make mistakes, we make mistakes. We
Right.
say too many times. That's too bad. It is what it is. Right?
13.
Yeah.
No, I just look at it that there's a quote that goes around, don't compare yourself, just be better than you were yesterday. And it's the 80-20 rule, but I would imagine 20% of the people kind of think that way, but 80% don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's even harder now to get out of that trap because of social media and how they only post things that are positive and the best of their life. They don't post the time they screamed at their kid because they dropped something. They're not, it's not, we all have those moments.
Right.
We all have those moments.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that goes right in sync too with how many times you see people posting, and I hear this from members of my team often. It's like, well, so-and-so, look how many new customers they're getting. Look how many affiliates they have, and because they're looking at that positive thing only that's happening. There's nothing behind there saying, how many people did they talk to get to that point?
Sure.
How many no's did they get that they had to like just shrug off that shoulder and keep on moving, And I mean, sometimes social media can hurt you, when it comes to this kind of thing.
Even, my kids are millennials. I have a 30 and a 27-year-old. And the TV especially the reality TV that they grew up with, it most times showed the end product.
Yeah.
It showed the level of success they had. And you're right. So that's what they think when they get out of college, they should have the $100,000 job, or everything should be right then. And, you know, what it doesn't show a lot of times is the work that was put in
Yep.
to get to that point.
Yep.
And they're not the same. They're not the same. And what I meant by traits, I guess, is, maybe, yes, they're all there, but what am I doing better than I'm doing now? What took me to that leap? What,
Mm-hmm.
So knowing, and you're seeing the 5 or 6 that are on stage that put in a shit ton of work.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see them put in the work. You've seen the success, especially if you're newer to send out cards. You're just seeing these people like, well, Jordan over here and Card Darlin, and and they put in a lot of sweat and work and presentations
And mistakes.
and mistakes.
You know, I mean,
14 years. Come on, give it to me.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And so I think it's you kind of have to envision, what's maybe it's okay. What's a presentation look like when I do one then? If I'm bringing somebody new, what does that look like? And how do I get them, growing faster than what I'm getting to do with them now?
Mm-hmm.
So I think all those types of things, you just kind of have paint a vision of yourself, your authentic self, who you are.
Right.
And if you don't see yourself on stage, then you're not on stage.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that either. Because we have some
Right.
top Eagles that they'll never be on stage telling their story. It's not who they are. It's not who they want to be. That's okay too.
Right. Right.
But I can guarantee you they're better when they became Eagle than they were when they started with send out cards.
Mm-hmm.
And not just within the business, but they're better all around too.
Yeah. And it all kind of like circles around to the very beginning, what we said, the betterness is not being somebody else, what somebody else looks like. The betterness is you, it's you and what you're doing, and be that authentic person, and like I say, Shawn, we you're so good at the picking up the cards and sending cards that just they're funny, however you come up with it and find all these memes and everything and put out there, somebody, and there's surprised so many people that so totally admire, like, where does Shawn get those cards? Where does he get those cards? Well, you have to ask yourself, like, they're fine. You go and search and find what you want, but is that your type of card? Is it really your type of card, or is it just like it because it came from Shawn? You know what I mean? I mean, you got to be your
And
type.
some will go, uh-oh, what did he send this time?
I know before they even open it, it's like, oh my gosh. Hey, the other day, I don't know when it was, you sent a card to Mark, and of course I just got all send out cards. I just zip them open them up, and I even read them thinking, well, that's kind of a weird card for Shawn.
Oh, it's from Mark.
Oh,
sure, opening his mail. Joey.
And then I slide back in there, and then Mark, you're opening.
Let me tell you, I don't know what happened at the post office, but this thing got all mangled.
But no, you just have to be yourself. And I'll tell you, as we go on these different tangents, right? The one speaker at the Relationship Marketing Summit that talked about the alpha, gamma, and
beta.
With the brain, one of my favorites too that I even listened to a couple of times. I did that one. And and the places that you come up with your ideas, when you're in that alpha state is where it is. And no, beta state. No, wait. No, alpha is the second one. Alpha is the middle one. Gamma is where you're like in La La Land. No. And those, when you're there, that's your creative mind. That's nobody else's. That's yours. And that's the kind of things that you want to build your business, your life, and that type of thing on.
Nor would you want to be in my gamma state or alpha, beta, whatever stage. No. Yeah. No. I must be relaxed because I have a creative mind all the time. Got to get it to slow down.
I know you do. You do.
But it's I think you should write, kind of write down things. What's the best vision that you want to see as you, and I think that's why we're put on this earth, is just to grow into the best person we can be.
Yeah.
We all have those moments when we all have to, realize that and accept those. But, what's the best you look like?
Hmm.
and then just start acting like it. Start
Right.
living it today.
Right.
And you'll grow into that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like some people say, is what is your legacy?
Absolutely.
What do you want people to say about you?
Right.
What legacy are you leaving? And that's kind of a somber thing to really think about sometimes, but it's real. It is
Right.
real. I mean, what do you want? Do you want them to think like, oh, they worked very hard to get on the stage and do the rah rah like so and so, you know?
Right.
Or is it like, you know what? They always stayed humble. They always stayed themselves and they did it the way that made sense to them,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So, yeah, it is. I mean, I'll tell you over the years, there were many, I will say there was many times for myself that I did way
Oh,
too much comparing with other people. It's like,
and I think that part of that I think is human nature.
yeah, I
I
think it
really
is
do.
too. Yeah, especially when I started in network marketing. I was in a home party plan well, when I was introduced to send out cards, I was in another plan, and I had no idea how the industry worked.
Hmm.
I mean, I just really had no idea. But I remember thinking, I was in like the home decor kind of thing, and I remember looking at it, and every time you go to these different events and the women were all dressed like with the designer purses and and all this kind of stuff, and I said, that's not me.
Right.
I'm not like that. I'll do what I want the way I do it,
Sure.
kind of a
Yep.
thing. And but there's times you have to kind of like really realize it's your journey, baby. you know
Well, and I think if you look at any say any industry, there's different ways to be successful.
yes.
You know, I think I've told the story. The first network marketing, first one I did, that was probably early to mid '90s, and I remember this guy getting up there, and his thing was successful people leave clues,
Hmm.
and it's not who they are, it's what they do
Right.
more so. And if someone's doing 5 presentations a day, 5 days a week, and they're hitting levels, maybe that's a good thing to emulate and copy.
Hmm.
You may do it totally different than they do,
That's right. That's
but
the
the
key.
action is what
Right.
is making them successful, and consistency, as we've talked on this show many a times.
Right. Right.
Um, so look at, okay, what does Jordan do? Not who is he, but what does he do? What does Darla do? What does Gail do? What does Callie do? What does Phoebe do? What do they all have in common?
Hmm.
What actions do they all have in common? And if you look at it, that's probably consistently working their business, training new people, sending cards, kind of like the 3 things we should be doing all the time that are told to us every day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
so
Exactly.
send, show, share, sign up. No, that's 4. Just stick to the S's, people.
Yeah, the three S's are send, show, and share.
Yep. So,
That's a challenge I have going on with a group right now. And it's simple. Don't unsimplify it.
yeah.
Don't make it
And the
more.
more you do it, the better you become,
Right,
which
right.
then you become a better person. And then obviously ingrained in our business and a lot of network marketing is the self-development. What are you doing outside of those things? What are you listening to? What are you reading? Do you
Hmm.
not watch the news? Do you not, you know, get into gossip? Do you not, those things those take you down a rabbit hole.
Right.
So what are you doing to, if you work out, are you working out your mind too? Um, so making sure you're spending time with, reading or listening to
Right.
books on, I almost said books on tape.
Wow, Sean.
How
Talk.
old is Sean? That'll be on next week's show.
Yeah, yeah. How did we used to get training?
Right. At least I didn't say books on album. Come on.
You know what? This is fun. This is going back there. I actually had a whole collection of CDs on some kind of motivational training one time.
Yeah.
And I got rid of them in a yard sale not too long ago. You know how you have things buried away? It's like, oh my gosh, look at these things. But I'm talking about a whole series, and it's like, I don't think I even watched them. I mean, I really don't think I
Yeah.
ever listened to them. I don't think I ever got through them all. But anyways, okay, that was a tip.
Okay.
So,
Well,
anyways, be yourself.
plan out the best you, write it down, and then just act as if it's already happened. And you'll
Yeah,
be amazed on what does happen. So,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
well, I
So,
hope that helps.
Hope that helps somebody. Yeah. Hey, it helped me, Shawn. Thank you. I needed that talk today.
You're welcome. My
Okay.
pleasure. What I do.
Okay, everybody.
Besides the fun cards.
Yeah, I need to send some cards.
Yeah, there you go.
You ever get like you have so many cards to send, you're just getting anxious because you can't get them all out?
So when I walk somebody through another tangent, when I walk somebody through sending a card, and I talk about how many cards, because I do 5 to 15 individual cards a day.
Right.
And I tell people, when I was meeting face to face with people, I would do that card as soon as I got finished with meeting up with that person. And usually it was wrapped around a topic that came up, make their own card, boom, out it goes. Because if you wait till the end of the day and you're like, oh my God, I have 5 cards to send. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes you're like, oh, I have 5.
Yeah,
Where
because you never realize them. Yeah.
I try to keep up with it throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Morning is my best time because I'll sit and I'm having my coffee and I'll look through Facebook, and if I think of somebody, and if I do birthday cards, I get them out. But throughout the day, I do them as I think about them, because once for one thing, I'll forget if I don't write it down, if I don't do it right then.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to have 15 cards to do at the end of the day. So that's that's how I try to manage it.
That's
so to
great.
speak.
You know, I'm not as disciplined as you. I do know that if I don't do some in the morning, I don't get them all done for the day that I want
Sure.
to. I have to break it up, but I'm a real advocate on Facebook. You know, Facebook is my friend when it comes to the cards, because I'll save them in a folder. You know, I'll save that post and save that post and know that I need to come back and do the cards.
Or I'll capture the picture. I'll save the photo so then I can look at my camera and go, oh, okay, I need to send.
Well, Shawn, I used to do that too until I pull up photos and say,
And you forget who they are.
whose person is this? Whose child?
Well,
what dog is
I'm
it?
not as old as you, Joy, so I still have most of my faculties.
Whoops, sorry.
Well, again, got totally off on a tangent. Yes, you got to be yourself.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I've gotten to where I have to save it. That helps me. And
Okay, that's a good point.
Find who it is and put it through. But you know, there are times. I was just talking to someone the other day. I was invited to be on a podcast, and they were talking about at the beginning of the pandemic. You know, what did you feel, and compared to your business now, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I can remember those first 4, 5, 6 weeks, I was full of anxiety, because there were so many people I felt I could have gotten a card out to. Sure. That needed to hear from me, that needed to lift me up, you know, that it was making me crazy. I've never felt that anxious to really pump the cards out as much as I did at the beginning of the pandemic. Now I got more control of myself later on, you know. I mean, now it's not that I didn't send less. It's just like, okay, let's not panic over this, you know. Right. But I was really anxious to get cards out to people, because I really felt the need. And it's, you know, and many of those people now are great friends, you know, and some of them may have gotten the link for the free cards, you know, or whatever. I don't know, without looking at everybody, but many of them did, you know. And it was a positive thing in their life. And I tell, you know, as we are, you know, we're obviously in the end of September, October, we're into the holiday slide with all the holidays coming up here, you know. And I know with business owners now, boy, you know, if there's ever a time to say thank you, it's the holidays, and do it in November. But right now, this year, with everything that's happened, it's even more critical.
More so, yeah.
More so.
And do it today. You can schedule the card.
Schedule the card. Get it out.
And when you're busy, you don't have to worry about it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, buddy. Right. Well, hey, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week on SOC Talks. In the meantime, go send the cards. See if you can match our 5 to 15 a day.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You'll beat it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.